Hail, fellow travelers. Tim from Secret Fire Books here. I have a few big announcements that I'd like to make, but first I have a short book haul that I'd like to show off. It's just a little one this time around. Now, I continue to shop at Barnes& Noble despite the fact that I really hate big chain bookstores. And the only place that's even remotely worth looking through at Barnes& Noble nowadays is the Annex, all the clearance books in the back of the shop. And so my most recent acquisition from the Annex is this, an illustrated edition of Inferno by Dante Alighieri. This is obviously the first part of his famous Divine Comedy poem. And as you can see back here, we have logo for Fall River Press. That's just the name of Barnes & Noble's in-house publishing company. It's a pretty nice hardcover edition. It reproduces all of the famous illustrations by Gustave Doré. Right here we have a portrait of Dante himself. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just lots of just gorgeous images of hellish landscapes and monsters and demons and poor souls suffering the anguish of perdition. Yeah, really classic stuff. It's just so cool, though. I love these old illustrations. I've read very little of the Divine Comedy. I've read some of the Inferno, but I've never read the whole thing. I need more epic poetry in my life, though, so I'm glad I picked this up. Yeah, here we go. Cross the river Styx, with all the dead souls swimming in the water. Oh, it's so cool. So awesome. Yeah, and this was only $10, so it's a real steal. Yeah, the Annex continues to be the only part of Barnes & Noble worth shopping through. Next, I have a couple of Sword and Planet novels. I'm actually doing a Sword and Planet themed video sometime soon, and so I wanted to get a couple different books by some different authors. The first one I picked up was The Goddess of Ganymede by Michael D. Resnick. I have the sequel, Pursuit on Ganymede. Jake from Pulp actually sent me 2 copies of Pursuit on Ganymede, so I knew I needed the first one in the series. And we have a nice Jeff Jones cover here. We have a bunch of stickers that are just baked on. They are never coming off, I know that much. But yeah, it sounds like an interesting little twist on the whole John Carter of Mars thing, so I'm looking forward to that. I also picked up The Lord of Spiders by Michael Moorcock. This is the second book of his Cain of Old Mars series. I read the first one, The City of the Beast, last year, and it was okay, but I'm willing to give the rest of the series a try. I couldn't find a credit for the artist on the front cover here, but it is a great little bit of art. And they sent it to me in a nice little baggie, so that was thoughtful of them. Now, the next 6 books, they were brought to me by my agents. As you may know, I have a few agents in my employ who are constantly on the lookout for used books for me, and so whenever they find them, they contact me and let me know. And so recently, one of these agents was out at a flea market, and he saw that someone had some paperback copies of the Tarzan novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and so he called me up and told me about it, and I was like, yeah, get them. And so he brought me the first 6 Tarzan novels in paperback. These are some old Ballantine editions. Ballantine, either way. They all have artwork by Richard Powers on the front. I like Richard Powers. He's not nearly as good as some of the other Tarzan illustrators, people like Boris Vallejo and Frank Frazetta. It's really no comparison, though. You know, comparing Richard Powers to Boris and Frank, it's like comparing Ed Sheeran to Freddie Mercury. Yes, these 2 men are in the same field of work. They do similar things, but one of them is on a completely different level. And so yeah, I like Richard Powers. This is the cover of the first one, Tarzan of the Apes. Now, I saw that cover, and at first I was a little disappointed seeing that kind of gangly-looking, clean-shaven, short-haired Tarzan. Because, you know, we usually think about Tarzan as being this more savage-looking figure. You know, on this Frank Frazetta version of the Jungle Tales of Tarzan, we have him looking all hairy and shaggy-looking. But then I thought about it, and I realized that Richard Powers' version is actually a pretty faithful representation of the character from the book. If you haven't read the original Tarzan of the Apes, then you won't know that that's kind of what Tarzan looks like. It's interesting. Edgar Rice Burroughs creates this character who knows he's not a part of the animal world, even though he was raised by apes in the middle of the jungle. He never knew his human parents, but he knows that he's different. He knows that he is a completely different being, completely set apart from the animal kingdom. And he has a constant longing for human interaction. He's constantly looking and expecting to find creatures who look like him. It's actually something that the Disney movie, of all things, got right. But at some point in the story, Tarzan actually stumbles upon the house that his father built. When he and his mother washed up onto the shore of this African jungle, they built this little hut on the seashore. And Tarzan stumbles upon it, and he gets in and finds all of his parents' old stuff, including some books. And in one of these books, he finds some pictures of people. And so it's the first time that Tarzan has ever seen people that look like him, actual human beings. And so he's flipping through this book, and he notices that the men in this book, they're all dressed in clothes, for one thing, but they're all also clean-shaven with short-cropped hair. And so Tarzan realizes, okay, this is what my people look like. This is what a human being's supposed to look like. And so he fashions some rough facsimile of clothing, and he uses his knife to shave off his facial hair and cut his hair short. And so that's kind of what Tarzan looks like in the book. He's not this, wild-haired, savage-looking guy. This is actually a part of humanity, a part of civilization that Tarzan is ready to embrace, even while he, still keeps his animalistic side close at hand. That's just a rambling way of saying that, yes, this Richard Powers cover is actually kind of faithful to the actual story. So that's book 1 in the series. Then next we got book 2, The Return of Tarzan. Got Tarzan doing what he does, swinging from some vines. We got some crocodiles down there. We got book 3, The Beasts of Tarzan. Oh man, it looks like it's raining blood from a lacerated sky. Okay, that's enough of that. I actually really like this cover. It's pretty cool looking. Book 4, The Son of Tarzan. It's a cool looking cover. I see this image all the time. This image is on pretty much every cover of The Son of Tarzan that I've ever seen. So I'm assuming that it's a pretty important scene in the book, Tarzan being strapped to this log carried around by an elephant there. I don't know, it's a cool looking cover. You can see some different techniques that Richard Powers puts into his work. He's got some knife techniques going on, looks like. Got some random splatters of color in the background. I like his style. Even when he's being a little more abstract, I like Richard Powers' style. We got number 5, Tarzan and the Jewels of Opar. I like that cover a lot. Facing off against this giant ape with a spear. Got some shadowy figures in the background. That's cool. Yeah, I like Richard Powers' stuff. And then the last one is number 6, The Jungle Tales of Tarzan. Got Tarzan fighting a big bird over some mountains. And it's a good image, I will admit. I have no doubt that this scene in this story is epic. But it just, again, you just can't compare it with the Frank Frazetta version. I mean, aside from the fact that this is Frank's more cartoony, super deformed looking style, is there a more iconic, purely Tarzan image? I submit that there is not. Yeah, I'm getting rid of all my other Tarzan doubles except for this one, and replacing it with these because I like having all these books in the same livery, more or less. It's cool stuff. All right, on to the announcements. First of all, the newest issue of my e-zine Necromancer just went live the other day. It's now available on Amazon and Kindle. You can check it out with the link in the description below. It would mean the world to me if you did. It contains 3 short stories, including a sword and sorcery story, Witching Tower, which features my reoccurring character, Visago the Vile. It was a fun story to write. Visago is always a fun character to write. I really enjoy writing stories about him, and I'm really proud of that one. So check it out if you will. It would mean the world to me. Each issue is only $5, so for less than your average cup of Starbucks coffee, you can get an issue of Necromancer and check out some short stories and some quick book reviews that I wrote. Secondly, We have the newest episode of the Elusive Exclusive Book Society coming up. That's going to be happening on May 19th, Monday, May 19th at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central. It's going to be happening here on Secret Fire Books, and we are reviewing The Dancer from Atlantis by Paul Anderson. I know virtually nothing about this book, aside from the fact that it involves time travel and it has a Frank Frazetta cover. So, obviously, I'm very excited to check it out. And this time around, we'll be joined by Grammaticus Books. Once again, Grammaticus is joining us. We always love talking to him. And we'll also be joined for the first time by Virgil from Literally Books. We've talked to Virgil a couple times on some other live streams. He's a cool guy. We like hanging out with him as well. So I can't wait to see what they think of The Dancer from Atlantis. Can't wait to see what you guys think of Dancer from Atlantis. So be there May 19th at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, now for the third announcement. This is the big one. I've been thinking about how I'm going to word this. So I guess I'll say that ever since late last year, all of the Eaves guys, Jake, Nick, and myself, have been trying to think of a way to meet up in person, because we talk to each other all the time. Aside from just live streaming with each other, we're sending emails back and forth all the time. We have a group chat that we text almost every day. So we're constantly in contact with each other, and we've been trying to find a way for us to meet up in real life. And sometime I want to say in February, Nick mentioned Pulpfest. Now, he and his wife went to the last Pulpfest in 2024, and he made a big video about it, documenting their adventures and book acquisitions from Pulpfest, and it seemed like a lot of fun. And so Jake and I seemed interested as well. I was a little unsure about it, but the more we talked about it, the more excited I got. And then my dad, of all people, actually encouraged me to check it out. And so, yeah, we're going to Pulpfest. Me and my dad are going to be there. My good friends Nick and Jake are also going to be there. So it's going to be a little Eaves meetup at Pulpfest. We don't have a table or anything. We're not doing a panel. We're just guests there. But we're all going, and we're probably going to do we're probably going to do a live stream there as well to sort of celebrate us meeting up for the first time and checking out Pulpfest. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're excited, obviously, to check out the dealers' tables and check out the panels. I think they're doing a film screening of King Kong. It sounds like a lot of fun. So, yeah, it's going to be happening on from the 7th to the 10th of August, I believe. And that's going to be up in Pittsburgh. So if you happen to be going to Pulpfest 2025, keep an eye out for us, because we're going to be there. Meet up with the Eaves and, talk books. We'd be more than happy to do so. So I'm excited about that. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm excited to meet my long distance friends for the first time in real life, and I'm excited to check out what they got going on at Pulpfest. So it's going to be a lot of fun regardless. So let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think? What did you think of the books that I showed off? What do you think of the announcements? What do you think of Pulpfest? Are you going to be there? Whatever the case, let me know. And until next time, as always, farewell and keep reading.